RSA Networks has really got to be about a story of personal growth and fulfillment, and then that really links to the notion of fellowship. Because what you're saying is when you become a fellow, that you're buying into a notion of the good life well lived. Now I know that sounds like a really sort of big thing to say, but I don't think we should be ashamed of saying that. I think we should say when people become fellows, the notion of becoming a fellow is the notion that you're not really a fully rounded individual unless, alongside your achievements at work and the money that you've made and the status that you've got, there's also a story about how you are giving something back and working with other people to develop different kinds of ideas. That's who our fellows should be.
And I think that's what fellowship's got to be about, action. It's all very well sitting in committee meetings, and indeed, I'm an entrepreneur, I run my own business, I haven't got time actually to sit in meetings, I haven't even got time to go to conferences sometimes. We have to get going. And it's about identifying those projects that catch you, that you're passionate about, and being prepared to put your head above the parapet and actually practically get involved.
It doesn't matter how able or charismatic or well-resourced one individual is, they're never going to achieve anything on their own. And the things that I can think back on and across my career that I'm proudest of are things where I may have had the idea, or I may have been the glue, or I may have instigated bringing people around a table, but they are the people who made it happen and made it worthwhile and made it successful. And it is the brokerage that you can bring in unlocking talents and energies and insights and experience and ideas that people have, and actually putting them together with other people with complementary ideas and experience and ideas and energies. And then they suddenly think, my goodness, we could make this happen. And they can, and they do.
Ultimately, our research program, what we do here, is produced by the fellows and what they're interested in and what they're willing to do, just as much as it's produced by, people up here commissioning major research reports and things like that. So that there's a sense that you don't have a clear demarcation between the things which John Adams Street chooses to do and the things that the fellows do, but there's a kind of continuum.
But that's a huge culture shift, isn't it?
There will still be things that just the fellows do. If the fellows want to kind of organise a party in Bolton or whatever, they'll do that, but that's great. And there'll be things that I want to do here. I kind of say, look, I want to do this project because I really think we need to show thought leadership in this regard. And to be honest, even if the fellows don't get it initially, you just got to back me on this one. There'll be a whole range of things where, there's a different mixture of backing from here, ideas from here, activism from fellows, or an idea that began with a fellow and then we've adopted it here. And I hope, in a sense, I hope it becomes increasingly difficult to be able to trace where these ideas came from.
I think the tipping point is going to come when the outputs and the story that is kind of in the world about the RSA is so compelling that people think, I've been a fellow for like 20 years and I had no idea they were doing all of this really amazing stuff. I must go find out more. We are all changing the way in which we are working. Our fellows are changing the way in which they relate to us as an organization, and we relate to them in becoming less of a kind of us and them and more of a sort of bigger us.
There's 4 things we do here. There's the house, basically, outward-facing things. House, lectures, research, fellowship. House is great. I want to turn the great room into a sort of wow space, but house is great. Lectures have been transformed, they're fantastic. I'm going to go online in a few weeks. Good surge. Research, more difficult to turn around, but we're kind of more than halfway to getting a really good team down there, I think, and doing really good work. This fellowship thing, it'll take a decade. I don't suppose I'll be here by the time, you can really say we're kind of completely got there. And anyway, at the point which we do say we've completely got there, there'll be lots of other organisations trying to catch up with us. So